Yo Brahmanam Vidadhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tam Devam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. This is the verse that Swami Vivekananda quotes right in the beginning of his celebrated book, Bhakti Yoga. And what it means is, I am desirous of liberation, and I therefore take refuge from the one from whom this whole universe came out and who actually sustains it and in whom it dissolves. So the one in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. So I am a mumukshu, a beautiful word, means tremendously desirous of liberation. And so please bless me with that liberation through your grace. You are the one who can bestow it on me. Friends, very happy to be amongst you. My dear friend Harinamananda told many things about me, many good things. I am not actually, please don't take them seriously. Yeah, yes, my knowledge about history and, or mysticism, nothing like that, friends. It is. But when you have some speaker coming to your center, you try to say good things about that person. Yeah, he told quite a few things, but it is. I should have told him that, oh, keep your introduction very, very, very brief. But then I remembered a story that one speaker told like that to the one who was giving an introduction, that, oh, keep the introduction very short. And that person did not like this kind of instruction, and so decided to wreak revenge. So when he stood to give introduction of the speaker, he said, what to speak about today's speaker? The less we speak, the better. So, had I told him, oh, please give short introduction, he might have said something like that. So, anyway, this topic is very good for us to discuss, and I am going to discuss a few points mentioned here by Swami Vivekananda about practice of bhakti. The bhakti is the way for most of us to approach God. Even as we want to realize the absolute non-dual, the path is bhakti, the love. There is this thought seems to be somehow current in many people's minds that the non-duality is against bhakti, which is absolutely wrong. Bhakti is actually that leads to the non-dual experience. The practical way to achieve this experience of non-duality. If we want to just keep on cogitating about it and daydreaming about it, that is a different thing. But if one actually wants to get that non-dual experience, the means is to love the divine, love the truth, rather than letting our mind run to appearances. Our minds, uh, they run to that which appears but is not real. Instead, it must be given the turn to that which is real. So, this is the nature of devotion or bhakti. Swami Vivekananda, in giving various definitions of bhakti in this first chapter of this wonderful book, tells that what he likes best is the definition given by Prahlada. Have you heard of Prahlada? No? Huh? Have you heard of Prahlada? Yes, good, good, yeah. It is Prahlada, the great devotee. And as you know the story, his father, Hiranyakashipu, a demon, very powerful, and who appropriated all powers to himself and thought that I am God. I am possessor of everything. He prohibited anyone to think of God, to take name of God. But what can be done? He had this son who was tremendously devoted to God. So he tried his best to remove this kind of wrong understanding of the boy, thought that by proper training, the boy will get to know that his dad alone is the uh, king of the whole universe. He is the God. No other thing should be given the status of God, his dad alone. But the boy did not relent. He was sent to the school and with the special instructions to the teachers that see that he properly understands this truth. But the effect was not happening. Not only that, he, Prahlada also was telling the other kids in the school, hey, this is the right way. Uh, Lord Narayana alone is real. Everything else is just illusory. So don't waste your time in thinking of the other illusory things, but only think of God. Put your life to the right use. And when uh, the king learned, he decided to kill him. That when attempting to modify his behavior were not finding any success, he decided that now, before this boy becomes uh, too unbearable, let me eliminate him. Before he starts polluting everybody in the kingdom, let me eliminate this boy. And so he tried to kill in various ways. But somehow or other he got saved every day, every time. No attempt was getting successful. So frustration took over that I am trying to kill this boy and I could kill so many very powerful people, and this little fellow somehow keeps uh, the death away from and is not afraid of me. So he ultimately asked this boy in his court that where is after all your God? Where is that Narayana that you are talking about? Where is he? Now think of what Prahlada is saying. Prahlada is seeing nothing but God. Everywhere there is Narayana. So how to say that he is in one particular place? He said it's everywhere. Everywhere. Do you mean to say he is in this pillar also? And Prahlada said, when I said everywhere, obviously he is in the pillar also. Hmm. Is he in the pillar? And then that powerful Hiranyakashipu kicked that pillar, and while the pillar made a huge sound as it collapsed, a big figure came out there, half lion and half human being, Narasimha, very powerful, with his lion's claws. He took Hiranyakashipu on his lap and tore him. It was at the dusk because Hiranyakashipu had gotten this boon that I shall not be killed by a human being or any celestial being or any demon. Nobody should have power to kill me. None of these. So Lord took the form of half human and half lion. Then he had the boon that I will not be killed during the day or during the night. So it was just dusk when this killing was taking place. Then he also had the boon that I shall not be killed either on the earth or in the skies. So he was being killed right on the lap of this uh, Narasimha, half lion, half man, and neither in the sky nor on the earth. And he had also got the boon that no weapon should be able to kill me. So he was not using any weapon, his own, those claws were being used. So thus he was killed, and they all that scene, very gory scene there, all the big Hiranyakashipu, he was lying dead there. The blood was just that flooding the area. His entrails were just everywhere. And this lion god, half lion, half man, Narasimha, was letting out the sounds like the lion's roar, everybody was terribly scared, naturally. But Prahlada didn't get scared because he was the lover of God. Love conquers fear. That if you have love, then there is no fear. So therefore, uh, Prahlada goes to Hiranyakashipu, this Narasimha, and Narasimha started caressing this devotee. What do you want, my child? What do you want? Now, as such, this little boy did not want anything, just wanted God all the time and nothing else. But since he was asked, he uh, told this God, Narsimha, what I want, uh, that Swami Vivekananda as considers the best definition of devotion. Ya pritira vivekanam vishayeshvanapayine tam anusmrita same hridayan mapasarpatu. That kind of attraction which the people without discernment have for the fleeting sense objects, let that very love never go away from my heart, that when thinking about you, that is the definition of bhakti, that the priti, that kind of attraction, those who cannot discern between what is real and what is appearance, they rush after the apparent things with love. The forms, I love you, I love this, I love that, and go headlong and get automatically the result is going to be, well, cheated. You get cheated. If you are running uh, towards appearances, all the evanescent things, you will not get it. How can you get something that just appears? It is, you see, in India, it is an experience that one gets very often. Here, because of the way the windows are there, doors are there, the birds do not enter into your home. But in India, all the little sparrows and all, they would just keep on coming inside the houses. And when they come inside the houses, their attention gets drawn towards the mirror. They see another bird like them there. Oh, so they want to go and have friendship or whatever, quarrel, whatever. So rush to the mirror. I have seen that myself several times. Now, does that bird get to meet that other bird? It is only a reflection. It is, so painful to see that the bird is getting hit again and again, and yet cannot stop rushing towards that mirror because it is seeing that another bird there, just like me. Oh, my dear friend. Oh, or my that enemy, let me kill you. It is whatever it is, but that is the tremendous attraction, unstoppable attraction towards that reflection, and it keeps on injuring that bird repeatedly. Our condition is same. We get attracted towards all these fleeting objects, these different forms, different relations, all are fleeting things. And still we cannot stop our attraction towards them getting hit again and again right on our face. Isn't it our experience? And that is why we should study this experience and learn from it. Experience is meant to learn from that. Otherwise, we don't have any experience. Now, why in job, when you are going for a job, they ask how much experience you have. Now, that experience is meaningful if you have learned from the experience. that it is. There was in the that olden days there used to be typists. Now also similar job, but instead of typewriter they have a computer. So one typist was telling with as if it was a matter for relation. You know, my boss was so happy with my work. He gave me a present. What present? He gave me a dictionary as gift. So uh, now for 20 years experience that person got, means for 20 years the fellow was doing the same mistakes again and again. Committing the mistake had become the habit. So that is not called experience. It is experience means if you learn from it. Oh, I rushed there thinking that, hey, my love is right here. Wow. But I got cheated. And then we blame others. Oh, that fellow was a useless thing. I thought that there is my love. But no, and it is not anybody's fault. It is my fault that I took the appearance to be real. That's all. Appearance is not the reality, especially as you see the reflection. Mm. We study some say high school physics. That will be enough to tell us that if the reflection is in that direction, the actual thing is in the opposite direction. Mm. So we have to change the direction. That not there but there. That is the called devotion. Same attraction but turn towards the reality. We have to be very practical in our spiritual life. Please remember, not that this is practical life and this is spiritual life. Spiritual life is practical life. Tell me what is practical? Running after illusions is practical, or striving for reality is practical? Eh? Obvious, the answer is no brainer. It is, yeah. And so, if we want to be practical, we have to turn all our attractions, same attraction, but in the right direction. That is then bhakti, turn towards that which is real. In Vedanta or in Hinduism, there is never a question whether God is or God is not. God is the isness of everything. Everything is because that isness belongs to God. Now, that is the abstraction that of whatever is. What is the isness? That is God. Therefore we say God is Sat Chid Ananda. Sat means existence itself. So that which is, other things are evanescent, appearances, delusions. And so turn away our mind from that illusion to the reality. And that is what Prahlada's prayer is. May that kind of attraction which these non discerning people have for the worldly objects, unstoppable attraction that they have for the evanescent objects, and therefore they suffer, those stupid impractical people. Let me become practical. Let me go with the same zeal, with the same attraction towards that which is. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that God is isness. Ishwar is vastu. That beautiful word, that vastu. Vastu means that which has existence. And everything else he would say avastu. It does not exist. It just appears and disappears. Like the waves on the ocean, they rise and fall. What existence do they have? Just uh, appearances. They are not real. What is there is the ocean. So the attraction for that is they called bhakti. The love for that is called bhakti. See, and therefore the result of bhakti is realization. See, the result of something that is, non-existent. What will be the result of search for that? Frustration. Frustration. That is why people are so frustrated in this world. Full of frustration because they don't get anything. They try, but since they try, their attempt is for something that is non existent, that search never becomes fulfilled. Like if Yogatmananda is here in this beautiful San Diego, and now somebody keeps on looking for me in Providence, what will happen? Will not find because I am not there. And if the fellow searches where I am, then I will be found. So, therefore, look where that the truth is, where the existence is. In Vedanta, therefore, they, like Shankaracharya says in his commentary, very beautiful presentation, that the search for God culminates in the experience of God, because God is Bhuta Vastu Vishayatvad. Language of Shankara is tremendous, very beautiful. This language with some such very short, pithy sentences. He uh, brings out the truth with such clarity that Bhuta Vastu Vishayatvat, that this search for God is for something that is, and therefore it culminates in its experience. That it culminates in its experience. So, therefore, we have to turn our mind towards that. That is called bhakti. And once it is turned, it doesn't take long to realize this truth. One becomes merged with God, who is one's reality, in actually no time. Because this is right within. I don't have to go a long distance to realize God, something that is the reality of me. It is how long they say a gold ornament has to search for gold. For how long? Well, it is gold. It doesn't have to go anywhere. So it's like that. And God is our reality. And let us remember this. Sri Ramakrishna was never tired of repeating this again and again, that God is my reality. He is right here. That is knowledge. God here, right here. That is knowledge. God there somewhere far away in the heaven. That is ignorance. It is, we don't have to go anywhere. Right here. All the practice of bhakti is nothing, it requires not much time or effort. But why time and effort is needed is because we do not get convinced of it. Ordinary person still this doesn't give up the effort of trying to get something from this world. I hear from many, Swami, that is true, but we have to have a balance in life. Mm. Recently, a question was asked of me uh, when I was speaking in New York. So, one gentleman asked me, very nice devotee, that okay, but we need a kind of balance in life. So, how much spirituality and how much worldliness? How much they should be properly combined? Mm. Well, the answer is really obvious. 100% God. The fellow was shocked. So, oh, really? Yes, 100% God. Hmm. How much truth and untruth do you want to mix? It is how much delusion and how much reality do you want to mix? There is no mixing of these. Absolutely. Let us be clear about it. That there is, can you ever give second place to God in your life? Then it is not God. If there is, it is God comes after something, means that that is not God. That has to be the primary search. That is why Jesus says, you first seek the kingdom of God. Everything else shall be added unto it. Otherwise, if we think that let me uh, go and get the world first and then I will look for God, we miss both. We miss both. Let me tell you a story. That it is an incident actually. One lady, she was very much disoriented because her uh, son, that was the only son she had, that son has chosen to become a monastic. Now in India, it is a big shock to the mother. The mother had already lost her husband, and this son was her only hope. And so naturally, she had become kind of disoriented. I went to see her and then tried to explain. Naturally, things were not getting in because there was this lot of sorrow that was not letting any truth go in. So I was telling, your son has not gone anywhere. You can think of him still as your son. Now, but now you are blessed with so many children, not just one. So many of us are your children. Think like that. Also, you hold on to that which is real. And there was one that rope hanging there in the room for putting the clothes for drying on that. So the rope was hanging, and the sunlight had cast a shadow of that rope on the floor. And then I told her, try to catch that shadow, catch the shadow. Now, any sane person will not go to attempt it, but because she was a bit disoriented, she said, okay, and tried to catch it. Imagine this scene, in your mind. This is something that happened. She tried to catch that shadow. I asked, can you catch? No, I can't catch. Then I told her, look, I will show you how to catch it. I held the rope And I told her, look, if you catch the rope, the shadow also gets caught. Hmm. But if you try to catch the shadow, neither shadow gets caught nor the rope gets caught. Trying to, get things from the world, not only we miss God, we miss the world also, because the world is non existent. How can you get it? It is just an appearance, just as you cannot catch the shadow. You will never be able to catch this world, but the world will catch you. Mm, just twist your neck, kill you, throw you out, spit you out, as it were. That is what happens when we run after the world. But there is the way to catch the world. Hold on to God. And then the world gets caught automatically. So that is the practical way the wise people should employ, those who want to really achieve the world. Don't run after the world. If you want to achieve the world, what? Run after the reality. Catch the reality. The world will automatically get caught. So this is the way. So this is called bhakti, and it requires practice only because there are so many obstacles in our mind about it. So many habits have been developed in our mind, and they are difficult. Habits, they say, die hard. Even if you remove H, a bit remains. HABIT. Remove H, a bit remains. Remove A, still bit remains. Remove B, still it remains. So habits die hard. So our habit of running after the world, somehow we keep on supporting it, thinking that not today but tomorrow I will be able to grab all the pleasures of the world. Not in this manner. You will be able to do that if you catch hold of reality, not otherwise. So, because of these ingrained habits accumulated over who knows how many births, we are not able to give up that. And so, that is why it takes time. For the practice, it requires technique. It requires technique to do it, and that is called this the means of devotion. I will skip some of these chapters here and come directly to the means of devotion. Please read this book again and again. I can tell you, that uh, I have read this book no less than 100 times, and still it when I read it again, as for this class I was reading it, it appears so fresh, as if I am reading it for the first time. There is such treasure in it, that unending, as it were. And oh, I didn't think of this point while reading before. Again, as it were, it keeps on springing at you. So, but we have a time limit. So, he tells as the means, the first thing is you should have a teacher, a guru. It is impossible to do it without guru. Great sages, they have mentioned that without guru there is not possible. You will just get lost. So have a guru. It is even in the straightforward roads these days. we have become so accustomed to use GPS. If the GPS is not working, we feel lost. It is what to speak of, a track in the forest when you are trekking, and then uh, there are the marked tracks. Once it so happened that as myself and three, four of us, they went for trekking, and we went ahead, got, all around was that woods forest, and because there was a big rain and storm just previous day, all those signs, all those marks, all had gotten obliterated, and we didn't know now what to do. Like, we looked at if the phone can help us, GPS, no phone connection there, nothing was working. We've looked here and there, and started, going in one direction. No, there is no road there. Then came back somehow. While coming back again, we got lost. That happens in such paths. You do not see, and got completely lost what to do. And then uh, that we saw somebody else, and then, hey, that fellow saw us, and then came, and then we asked, hey, we are stuck here, dear, can you help us out? He said, yes, surely I know this, but I come here, I live more or less here. And so he told us how to go, and we quickly then returned to where we started from. So, friends, that is Guru. We are lost, It is in this kind of forest of this world, of the various objects. We don't see the directions. What to do, we do not know. And so confused. We still refuse to take the help. Look at our stupidity. Even if the help is there, we say no. Why? Ego, our ego is so big. Mm. There is a nice, funny story of the ego. It is said that generally men have a bigger ego than women. That is why women are, they become devotees faster, because men have that, oh, what do you mean, am I less, I can do it. So one minister, he got a call that there is a burial of a devotee there, one of your church members, it is at this place, and it will be great if you can come. So he thought that, yes, I will go. And then uh, he didn't take the proper directions. Thought, that is, ego does that. Oh, I know, in general, I know that place. I will be able to go. But didn't really find, so moving here and there and all that. After about 1 hour after the time, he found that place. Now he says that, look, at that time, all the relatives had gone away. The last things were that their workers were there. They were uh, putting the soil and all that, making it, yeah, uh, neat and clean there. They had put the soil on there. And then I thought that, let me do my duty. So I called all those workers and started giving them a sermon, right beginning from the Genesis and working my way up, uh, that how God is, having showers His grace on us. Let us pray to God. and so forth. And then after, as usual, and these ministers are difficult to stop, so it is like when I start talking, it is some people have to keep on reminding me it's time. So anyway, so after about an hour, he got into his car, finishing the sermon, and said to those workers goodbye. As he was starting the car, he heard the foreman of that working team saying to others, "Ah, never seen such a thing in my whole life. And imagine, I have been working in this septic tank business for last 25 years." So that is what happens with ego. It was not burial or anything. The septic tank was being made there. That's all. So that is how we get cheated in this world if we do not have a teacher. Mm. So we have to have a guru. Do you agree or no? Huh? Come on, you should say clearly, boldly, I am not here with a rod to hit you. Uh, um, you can be fearlessly saying, "No, Swami, I don't agree with that." Mm, it is, in my opinion, it is very important to have the Guru, without which this path is very, very difficult. So, by Guru, at least now you have a GPS, working GPS. And GPS in this spiritual life is Guru positioning system. Hmm. So, have this Guru positioning system, and thus you will proceed to your destination without much hurdles. So, Guru is very necessary. Then he says that mantra, these three things come, that Guru, mantra. The Guru infuses this power and connection with God through a mantra, a connection. It is so that mantra is that connection. Very important. The power of the Guru gets transmitted in us through that mantra. And one more thing necessary, Ishta, the chosen ideal. This concept is very difficult to understand for those who have not uh, grown up with these ideas. They feel they have question about how so many gods. Yesterday at Caroline's place also, that question came up. There are so many gods. Is it one god or many gods? We have one god. You Hindus have so many gods. It is not so many gods or even one god. It is the reality, it is one without second, but appears in so many different ways. Now you have to connect to it. And there, that our anthropomorphic limitations come in place. We are human beings, and those human limitations are there. In If you are practical person, then you should understand your limitations, that and understand, accept, and see how you can work out your passage to ultimate reality through those limitations. The limit, "No, I don't have any limitation," is foolishness. We are human beings. Swami Vivekananda says that what do we understand of the formless, infinite? Even though we utter the word formless, what is formless? You get the image of a sky. And now sky is a form. Sky is not infinite, it is form of sky. So we are limited by our this human constitution to look at the world in a particular way. And therefore we have to form a relation, a connection with one of the aspects of the divine, and that is called the chosen ideal. That, like, I connect with Sri Ramakrishna or Lord Shiva or Vishnu or Durga or whatever. That chosen ideal is that the Brahman, the all pervading reality, representing as something that is tangible to us. It is again a very practical need of human beings. Rejecting it means we ourselves are, shooting on our foot. It is, one should not do that kind of things. If we want to actually traverse on this path, then there is the need for the Ishta, the chosen ideal. Hold on, God is in everywhere, in everything, everywhere. But okay, choose one form and concentrate on that. Know that that form is a representation of your chosen ideal. Is God in that? Yes and no. God certainly is in that, but is not limited by that. But you have to uh, do all that, hold on to that as God and proceed ahead. So, this is the idea of Ishtam, the chosen ideal. Guru gives that. A Guru gives us the mantra and the chosen ideal, and thus we now have some tangible path to follow. Now, it is what should be done. I am jumping now to the 10th chapter. Hmm. So, uh, Swami Vivekananda says, in regard to the method and means of Bhakti Yoga, we read in the commentary of Bhagwan Ramanuja on Vedanta Sutras that, and it is now in the quote marks, that the attaining of that means Brahman comes through discrimination, controlling the passions, practice, sacrificial work, purity, strength, and suppression of excessive joy. All these are the means to be practiced. The practice is very important here. So, the practice involves this discrimination, means what is the right kind of intake. That is how Ramanuja interprets it. That ahara, he quotes there from Chandogya Upanishad. It comes towards the end of Chandogya Upanishad, that very beautiful theme, that ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi, sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti, smriti lambhe sarva granthi nam vipramoksha. A very beautiful, a very cryptic way of telling the three steps of realization. In three steps, you realize God. First step is purify the intake. Purify the intake, because you become what you eat. So it is, I still remember and tell at many places that when I came to this country 22 years ago, near Boston, there was a big sign on that road there. Don't eat nuts. because you become what you eat. There is a story. One lady entered a restaurant with a child. Probably the child was allergic to nuts. So she asked there at the restaurant, "Do you serve nuts?" And she received the reply, "We serve everybody." So it is. So it is, the point is, the food that we take in determines our thoughts, mm, our various things that happen in our life, that is due to food. So at least in the initial stages, one should be very careful. You can observe it yourself that certain types of food, it excites your mind, and you will not be able to concentrate on God. So such food should be avoided. Certain types of food will make you very lethargic and will not be able to do the spiritual practices. Such food, therefore, should be avoided. There are certain, prescriptions, but they are relative, depends on what is available, what is not available, and so forth. But one must uh, have some control over the certain types of food that we eat. So, but there Shankaracharya comes with a very novel explanation that food is not just what we take in through this mouth. Whatever we are taking in with from our through our sense organs, like when I am looking at you, I am taking in this form through the eyes. When I hear sounds, then I am taking in those sounds through ears. Through all this, like this sense of taste, smell, touch, I am taking in this world. That intake is more important than the intake that we have through the mouth, because that goes right in the mind. Now, what we take by mouth goes very slowly. One can give a comparison, that it is just an analogy, don't take it too seriously. That taking medication orally, then it goes through the digestive tract, gets there disintegrated, then goes into the blood, and after some hours or so you start feeling the effect of that medicine. The other method is, if you want quick results, then it is given as an injection. It is inserted right in your blood. So now the effect is very fast. So the food is something like this, slowly it will get into you. But what you see immediately stirs the mind up. Mm. What you hear immediately changes the mind. Something that you read. Reading is a kind of hearing. That only one interface is added, that's all. But when you read, you are actually hearing. Now, a story about it, that in one village, only one that schoolmaster knew how to read, write, others were all illiterate. So one villager got a letter, and so he carried it to this school teacher. Hey, please read it out to me. And the fellow, he started reading. Before he could start reading, this man went and put his fingers into the ears of this man. Hey, what are you doing? No, no, this is a confidential letter. You should not hear the contents, you just read. So, it is the reading is hearing. Do you get it, Maharaj? Yeah, it is. So, uh, and that all that goes right into your blood, immediately your mind will have the effect. Like you read some news in the newspaper, disturbing, uh, and immediately the mind changes, gets disturbed. That with food it takes long time, but this is like intravenous, uh, that administration of medication works very fast. So therefore Shankaracharya tells that the real food that we take is from these sense organs. That also has to be purified. That is, which you should take only pure intake. Means see only those things which are conducive for the practice of devotion. You go and see something and get the mind ruffled. What is the use of that? So do not do that. Hmm. Keep it, straightforward, simple. That take what is conducive to devotion and keep other things away. So this is the purification of our intake, ahara. So now what happens with that? The Upanishad says ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhi. That leads to purification of our mind. Now as the mind gets pure, you start remembering, because the mind was covered with all dirt. You couldn't see it earlier that you are divine. But when you this mind gets pure, now you remember, oh my goodness, I am divine. That memory wakes up. This is actually a method that the Tantra uses. This is a Tantra terminology. That it is Pratyabhijna. They call it Pratyabhijna, means recognition. Oh, yes, I am divine. Sure, yeah. So, holding on to this memory, now all bondages are cut asunder. So, this is the one means that is told, keep your intake pure. Practice. It may not happen in one day, because a lot of these habits have been, and it takes time. So do not worry that it is taking long time. Uh, Keep at it. We have to keep at it. Gradually it will work. Suppose you want from to go from here, walk all the way to Key West in Florida. Ah, Now, if you say that, oh, I had been walking for half an hour, still I have not reached, my God, it will take days and days, and it will take many months to get there if you keep on just walking. Yes, that peace pilgrim, you might have heard about her. She walked all over. So it is possible that you can walk and reach Key West, but you have to doggedly uh, persevere, and you will get there. Changing our mind is so difficult, because it has got all those wrong habits, wrong impressions. So you have to work slowly, gradually. Slowly means not that, okay, it is told slowly, not like that. Now work to your fullest capacity, but still know that it is going to take time. So continue. So these practices have to be carried on as told here, that it is they then there is next thing to be attended to restrain the sense organs from going towards the objects of senses, to control them. They have acquired the habit, and they are on the, so to say, automatic mode. that they, whatever appears attractive, they just run towards those. Now one must restrain them, like you restrain. Do you anytime walk the dog? You might, if even if you don't, you might have seen that the one who has to hold the leash tight, because the dog otherwise runs hither thither. So you have to keep it on tight leash, that you won't let the dog go anywhere that the dog wants. You want the dog to follow the proper track. So it is important that the mind would like to run, this the sense organs would like to run towards those objects. Quite natural, don't get disturbed that why do my these organs are running towards that. They because of the habit they have got that. And so restrain them, though don't let them go. Tell them, hey, uh, whatever you want, I will not let you do that. Hold them. So that is a practice that one needs to do. And you will feel so much joy by doing this practice. How don't you feel more joy if your dog obeys you, uh, or if your dog drags you after it? No, then it is not my dog. I belong to dog, as it were then. It is. So you feel happy when your dog obeys you. It is. So you have to train the mind. Methods are similar, like they use for training the dogs. I went to one dog training park there near our center in Providence. So the method was very simple, very obvious training method, that uh, trick or treat. That if you tell the dog something, and if the dog does it, give the dog a piece to eat, something. So that goes in the dog, that memory, that if I do what that master is telling, I will get the treat. If you tell the dog doesn't do it and does something else, uh, give the dog a little blow. So the dogs understand that if I do this, I get it. What do I want? So one has to give such blows and some incentives to our mind. Hey, mind, wow, you did right today. Continue like this. And you rascal, how many times I told you, don't do that. Hmm, Back it a little bit. so so that it gets a lesson. That yes, I must behave. So it is, thus you have to practice. This is matter of practice. Then there is the practice of non-violence. Swamiji gives a word that of caution. Non-violence does not mean becoming vegetarian. uh, Becoming vegetarian is neither here nor there, and that is not the practice of non-violence. Practice of non-violence means not having jealousy or hatred towards anybody. That is the meaning of the Sanskrit word ahimsa. There should not be the intention of injuring anybody. It is otherwise the killing is always there, whether you are vegetarian or non-vegetarian. You are killing every time. There is no escape. Otherwise you have to stop breathing. Because so many bacteria, they die as you breathe in. So if you really want to be non-violent, in that sense, I will not kill anybody, then you kill yourself. That also is killing then. So therefore that is very impractical, something meaningless. What is meant by practice of ahimsa is do not have hatred, jealousy, enmity towards anyone. So that is a practice that we have to do, because the mind gets ruffled, agitated, irritated, and immediately one develops a sense of enmity or hatred towards somebody else. So one has to stop this. That don't have hatred towards anybody, because you are there. The same self is in everyone. So by hating some person, you are actually hating yourself. So do not hate anybody. Then there is the practice of purity. Means, what is the purity? Idea of purity is follow your, the guru has given you the routine, the advice. Now stick to it, follow it. Mm, that is the purity. Then be a very straightforward, simple person. Sri Ramakrishna used to always tell that the simplicity is a necessary condition for realizing God. A simple hearted, straightforward person can realize the God. Those who are crooked, it is, they won't. They say that a person, oh, that person is so simple hearted that you put a nail through it and it comes out as a screw. So it is so straightforward. It is. So our mind should not be like that. Simple, straightforward faith in the words of Guru that will lead us to God realization. These are some of the matters to practice that I have discussed today. It is, please read the book yourself, study it. It is a great boost that we will get in our spiritual life if we study it with honesty, with sincerity. That sincerity is very important. So, and surely I can guarantee you that we will reach the goal. This is a science, friends. This is nothing like a miracle. Spiritual life is far more scientific than any physical science can ever aspire to be. Most scientific. That if you are walking on the path, right path, then if somebody gets it, you also will get it. Like you came here, Upa Street. Now anybody who has the address and the directions will be able to come here. It is not only for those who are privileged, those who have some special features. This is scientific, that everybody who practices will get it. And it's again other side, if you don't practice it, I don't need to tell you. So let us resolve. It requires tremendous resolve. Without resolve, one does not go ahead in spiritual life. That yes, right now I will do it. Let us not put it off. Okay. Hmm, let me find an auspicious occasion from uh, this summer vacation, let it be over, and then I will start. No, please do not. Let us not do it ever. Right now, the present moment is the most precious moment to start anything. Those who don't want to do it, they procrastinate. Okay, later on, let me see. Now, next month is the wedding of my son. So after that is over, then I will start. Things never end. All these things are always going to be there. After son's wedding, you will start preparing for your grandson's wedding. So the mind is terrible, terrible thing. So let us begin now. You must have read that beautiful book of Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now. Mm. So let us begin now, and by the grace of God, we will succeed. Jai Shri Ramakrishna, Jai Mataji Sarda Devi, Jai Swami Vivekananda, Hari Om Tat Sat. My heartfelt thanks to my dear friend Harinam Anandji, and to all of you, all wonderful friends here. I have been, extended wonderful hospitality here, and I'm very thankful for that also. And then you have to do a little work also, isn't it? So otherwise they don't give you food. So uh, so Swami also has to do work, no free lunch. Thank you very much. All the best.
Martha, I think you should mention the book again. The title of the book.
The Bhakti Yoga by Swami Vivekananda.
So Bhakti
The
Yoga.
most important, I began telling it. So it is now telling it means, a man, I was listening to Ramayana, the whole Ramayana was described. And then the teacher asked, you understood everything? Yes, yes. But I didn't know who Sita was to Rama. So now.
So people understand the whole thing was Bhakti. So this is based on the book Bhakti Yoga, or actually, it's a series of lectures.
It is series of lectures, but all of them come under this pattern
But you
Bhakti
can get
Yoga.
it in the complete. So
Complete Works, Volume 3.
So if you go to the internet,
yeah,
Complete Works of Swami Vivekananda, Bhakti Yoga, you should be able to get the lectures there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you very much, friends.